enough evidence to write our books.
Yeah.
If we don't cut ties.
You got a lot of books to write.
Yeah, I know. But were you scared, Anna?
No, I wasn't scared. I was in a vehicle.
Mm. Oh, you don't think they ripped the door off? You're saying that women's squatches aren't as strong as men's squatches?
Oh, no. We weren't pulling out the gender roles and strengths and weaknesses of a Yeti.
Yeah? Aren't Yetis white?
Damn it. Of a Bigfoot. So it doesn't matter the color.
What color was it, Anna?
It was dark because it was dark out, so I couldn't tell.
Oh, sounds real familiar.
Either way, it doesn't really matter. It was something big with long arms that moved not like a man or a woman.
But you wouldn't call it a white American.
I would not call it a human.
Oh, that's getting pretty personal with it.
Yeah.
So, black Sasquatch, right?
I don't know if it was black. It might have been brown.
But it was dark.
Yeah, it could have been gray. I mean, I don't know.
It just wasn't white.
It definitely was not light. How about that?
So that's why you didn't call the police.
I didn't call the police because that thought never crossed my mind.
You wouldn't want to call...
I didn't see anybody breaking the law or someone in physical danger. That would have been when I would have called the police.
So the last time you saw someone breaking the law, you called the police?
Yeah.
What was that?
So I'm not allowed to disclose that information because it was at work.
Lie. You called the police? Okay, time for that.
I don't remember. It was
Well,
probably me. No, I'm just kidding.
Say it was probably me.
I'm kidding. I abide by the
I'm saying
law.
last time law was broke, the police should have been called. Would have been called on myself. I don't know.
Mm.
That's what she's saying, too.
That's what she said.
Mm-hmm.
So I wonder if, like, and I don't really want to talk about the riots and protests and stuff, but if people started rioting, like, or if you were like driving home, you saw the riot, would you call the police?
If I seen rioting?
Yeah.
Oh,
like
absolutely
if somebody
would.
was rioting.
So here's the thing about that, and this is all I'm going to say. I'm no master debater by any means.
You're going to rough talk?
And you already know this, I believe love might not cure all, but it sure helps. And love without conditions.
Amen.
And when it comes to all that, I understand the idea that for any of these movements, it took an uprising, a disturbance of some sort. And being a minority myself, being gay, I mean, I get it, but not in one moment did I ever think, like, I'm going to go break some shit, light some fires, and take advantage of the situation, rob some people, or hurt someone. Just to be heard, just to be seen, just to demand my rights. And I understand things have come a long way. But it's very unfortunate what happened. It is. And it's unjust, and it's uncalled for, and it's dehumanizing, and a man lost his life. Mm-hmm. However, I don't think it has to do with color. Yes, that man was a racist. However, let's talk about how he had those 18 counts and still remained on the front line. Something needs to be done about that overall, these people. And yes, I'm going to say these people. No, I'm not saying color, gender, race, or sexual identity. I can keep going on, religion, sect, denomination. Those that use their authoritative position to make others feel weak or to physically harm them or to get ahead, that needs to come to an end. Unfortunately, the thing about that is there's God's will and there's man's will. And so I don't believe people are born evil. I do believe people struggle with mental health. But as long as there's that opportunity to choose things towards their advantage and gain from it and be encouraged to do it. And like, for instance, I know I'm probably going on a tangent with this right now, but like in other countries, I mean, in grade school, they're taught to hate.
Mm-hmm.
And until that's going to end, there's going to be things like this. However, like the fact that he remained a police officer for so long, I want to know what's going on with his supervisor and his supervisor and the whole crew and those men that stood there. And yes, I get it. Like they're watching their coworker, their
brother in arms.
Thank you. And then everybody's like, well, the spectators, why didn't they do anything? Because you're also standing there with 4 other cops and they all have guns.
Mm-hmm. And those other cops, I found out that they were training those poor guys. And
movie Training Day.
Yeah. And they seriously were training, and they're like, yeah, we couldn't really do a lot. You know, that was our training officer, and we were just going with the flow. And, yeah, that kind of sucks, and I don't know how you'd react if you got put in that position, probably the same way. And I just think that's unfortunate. But at the same time, though, the police brutality has to stop. And I just don't think it's fair. White, black, yellow, don't matter, man. Bigfoots, not Bigfoots. You know, I just wish that people would be treated more as humans. And I've seen way too many videos lately, and that just gets people fired up. And you can blame that on the media if you want. You know, you can blame that on people just not enjoying their day, and then you can put it on people like, no, we need to get involved. And yeah, we do. But where does it stop, though? This is my question. This is not one thing I've heard is, like, what about jail? You know, you've been to jail, haven't you?
I spent 2 weeks in Wayne County.
Yeah. Not a good time.
That was a treat.
Well,
you want to talk about racism?
Yeah.
I've never been so mistreated in my entire life, and it wasn't even by my roommates. It was by the, what are they called? The correction officers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They wouldn't give me toiletries.
Mm-hmm.
And the day before the end of my nice little stay at the Marriott, the day before I was tethered out to treatment, I went up there and I was like, can you please give me some toiletries? And also these stitches I've been telling you about, my eyebrow are growing into my skin. I need to see medical. And the lady finally looked up and closed her computer because she was watching YouTube. It was really, really, she had a really hard day at work that day. She said, stay right there. I'm gonna make an example out of you. And she came out and she belittled me in front of everybody. And I'm really emotional. And I cry whether I'm happy, sad, scared. And I just remember, like, telling myself, like, don't give her the satisfaction. But I could feel, like, the hot tears just, like, streaming down my face. And I thank God that I was discharged out of there.
So when are we going to do something about that? You know, Berrien County, people die all the time in jail, in Berrien County Jail. And they sue the hell out of the jail. And the jail they do, like, some stupid, oh, we'll pay you this amount over 40 years. So they're not really hit with the, $4 million lawsuit at one time. They just had, so long to pay the taxpayers' money to the people that they've killed and to the family. And I just think that's horrible. Look it up. I'm not lying about this. When is that going to end? And how many people have they got to the brink but then got lucky and walked away? Like, how many are they mistreating every single day still? Probably more than before. Are people that are getting thrown in there being roughed up and treated worse because, hey, look, ain't no cameras in here. Only cameras we got are closed circuit. And is it just going to go on worse behind the scenes there? Like, are the cops going to now take people to jail and be like, hey, this dude, to give him a little wink? But that needs to be dealt with, and I haven't seen or heard anything about that. And if they're, doing it in public, it's bad enough. But that's how used to getting away with things I think they are. Where, yeah, that dude, he didn't care he was in public. He didn't care people were recording him. He just assumed, hey, I've gotten away with this so many times already. What's one more? But I don't know. Only thing I do know is all that stuff really needs to stop, and especially if someone goes to jail for a drug charge or something, for their addiction, I really don't think that they should be treated like animals. I don't think anybody should be treated like animals. And that's what they do. And a lot of people, they have a real big misconception of what jail is and what it's actually for and what it's doing for people. They just think out of sight, out of mind. And I think actually at that cookout, Anna, or maybe before or after, we kind of talked about something like this from last year. It's just like sending that kid to his room. The kid's crying. Put him in the corner. Well, he's still there. I still see him. Well, send him to his room. Lock him away. Oh, that's better. It's quiet now. Timmy's upstairs. I can't hear him. It's kind of how, jail is used and what it's for. And that's not how you make somebody better. Like we send Timmy up there in 20 minutes. Is he coming down all happy now? No. He's got resentments and he's going to make sure he gets away with it next time. And, he feels slighted. Like, man, I had to miss the Sasquatch show on Unsolved Mysteries because I was being bad. Like, you didn't teach me how to behave. If you would teach your kid how to behave in those situations, and maybe it's easier said than done. I don't know. But
I've gotten better with my own issues with parenting because for a while there I just kept my mouth shut regardless because I always thought I couldn't even keep my own kids, so how do I have the right to tell anybody how to parent? But one thing that I will say, a lot of people oversee that neglect is abuse. And I don't know how many people are like, I had a pretty good childhood. My parents didn't hit me. My parents didn't even yell at me. Oh, my parents didn't, nothing.
Right.
They didn't do anything with me. They didn't spend time with me. They didn't tell me that I was worth it. They didn't tell me. They didn't go to my games. You know what? They didn't even care. They didn't sign my papers. Whether I failed or whether I got an A+, they didn't care.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe they were stuck in their own addiction, or maybe they struggle with their own mental health issues. But that's going to affect a child at the time into an adult.
But at least, try to talk to them. Try to show them the way that they're just children, sending them away, not talking to them, being rude to them, that's all that's doing is showing them how to act when they get older. And, maybe that's how we got jails in the first place. I don't know, but they don't do any good for people. And if you want somebody out of sight, out of mind, I'm sure there's better ways to do it, and way more affordable ways too.
Locking someone up, though, isn't the answer. Especially, like I said, if there's other struggles involved, that there's no progress there. If anything, it's going to be regression.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I do believe that once you violate something to a certain level, then absolutely. But then again, who am I to say exactly what kind of persecution someone deserves? That's a topic that I tread lightly around too, because I know in the Bible it says each sin is equal, which I struggle with big time. Like we were talking about earlier, Jeffrey Dahmer, Ted Bundy. I have a really hard time fathoming, and it doesn't sit well with me to think the things that they did is just as bad as a 5-year-old taking a stick of gum out of the gas station. So there's a certain level that I think they don't deserve to be out free and running to go ahead and harm other people. So.
Yeah, I just think there's a better method. I mean, take them away from society, sure, but not so far away where there's no hope for them. But I don't know. Maybe that's a topic for a whole another show. And yeah, I'm getting to the end now, so I think we should probably go. But Anna, thank you for being on the podcast. Sorry that yours didn't work out twice in a row now, but somebody wants to hear the one that you did tonight. Like I said, it's echoey, but we'll send it to you if you really want to hear it. It's really good. I just don't know the quality, if that'll be. Maybe I'll try to clean it up, and I don't know, but
maybe we can do one again tomorrow. And I know Jamie won't be with us. And actually, I was super excited because I've been bugging my wife with this for so long. But it was a good practice run.
Yeah.
And again, I know I said this earlier, but like Marney said, it was a really good conversation. It was nice to sit back because I sit there and I struggle to one think that anybody wants to just sit there and listen to me.